You know that feeling, right? You get this brilliant new idea, a fresh start, and you just want to shout it from the rooftops. But what if? What if that exact impulse is the very thing that's holding you back? Well, today, we're going to dig into the hidden power of quiet execution. So maybe you just started a new project, or you've got this amazing idea for a business. It could be a side hustle, or you know that one big life goal you're finally going to tackle. You're pumped, right? You're energized, ready to go. So, what's the very first thing you do?
For most of us, the first instinct is to tell everyone. You throw up a post on social media, you tell your friends, your family, basically anyone who will listen. And why not? We're looking for that validation, that little rush of support. It feels productive, doesn't it? But, and this is a big but, that good feeling, it's a trap.
All right, so let's get into the problem here. Why does talking about our plans so often kill them? The thing is, that instinct to share actually has some serious downsides. It can completely derail your momentum before you even get off the ground. Okay, so just look at the difference between what we expect to happen and what actually happens. We think sharing is going to make us feel accountable, right? But what we really get is a ton of confusing, conflicting advice. We're hoping for useful feedback, but instead we get this fake sense of accomplishment. And we want encouragement, but sometimes what we actually run into is subtle doubt or even jealousy. I love this quote because it's so true. It's like inviting 100 chefs into your kitchen to make one dish. I mean, it's a disaster. Suddenly you've got opinions coming from everywhere, often from people who have zero experience in what you're trying to do. They might mean well, sure, but all their fears and biases, all that unsolicited advice, it just makes everything foggy. It clouds your vision. And this is the really dangerous part. It's a psychological trap called premature gratification. Here's how it works. When someone says, wow, that's an amazing idea, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine. That's the feel-good chemical. So it feels like you've already achieved something. And that satisfaction you get just from talking about the plan, it actually starts to eat away at the motivation you need to do the work. I mean, just look at this. This chart says it all. All of that precious energy you have for your new thing, it gets rerouted. Instead of pouring it into quiet, focused work, you're spending it on talking, on explaining, on getting that validation. So your talking tank is full, but your doing tank, it's running on empty. So if that's the problem, what's the antidote? It's a simple but really powerful concept: quiet execution. And to really get it, we're going to look at one of the best examples I can think of, the story of Jack Ma and the very beginning of Alibaba. You have to remember, when Jack Ma was starting Alibaba, the whole idea of e-commerce in China was basically a joke. Seriously, people thought he was crazy. They told him flat out, this will never work. He wasn't getting support. He was getting laughed at. So what did he do? Did he try to convince everyone? Nope. He and his team took a completely different approach. They basically ignored all the doubt, they kept their big vision to themselves, and they just worked. I mean, they worked relentlessly. Their big public announcement wasn't some fancy press release. It was their massive, undeniable success. And this quote really sums it up, doesn't it? We didn't have time to talk. We were too busy working. The team was just heads down, reportedly sleeping in the office, living on instant noodles. They weren't wasting a single breath arguing with critics. Every ounce of energy they had went into building the thing. Here's a great way to think about it. Your idea is like a tiny seed. Now, if you plant that seed and then dig it up every single day to show people, hey, look, it's a seed, what's going to happen? It's never going to grow roots. It needs to be protected. It needs to be nurtured in private, where it can get strong before it's ready for the world. Okay, so does this mean you have to become a complete hermit and tell absolutely no one? No, not at all. The goal here isn't total silence, it's strategic silence, and that means carefully building a very small, very trusted circle. So who gets to be in this inner circle? Well, it's not just your friends who tell you everything is awesome, no. It's the people who believe in your ability to solve problems. It's people with actual relevant experience. You want folks who will give you real constructive feedback, the kind that challenges you to be better, not just empty praise. They're there to protect your vision, not to poke holes in it. Look, you do not need 100 opinions. You just need a few really good ones. That's it. You need people who actually get what you're trying to do and can offer advice that helps you move forward, not just spin your wheels. It's always, always about quality over quantity.
All right, let's wrap this up. What's the big takeaway here? If there's one thing you remember, make it this. Let your results be your noise. And, here's a little bit of a hard truth. At the end of the day, nobody really cares about your plans. And I don't mean that to be harsh. It's just that everyone is wrapped up in their own lives. They care about your results. That's what gets people's attention. That's what makes them believe. I mean, talk is cheap, right? But when you show up with something real, something tangible, suddenly the whole conversation changes. Your results do all the talking for you.
So please, don't think of this as hiding or being secretive. Think of silence as your superpower. It's your strategic advantage. It's a shield that protects your fragile idea from doubt, and it lets you channel all of your energy into the one thing that actually matters: getting it done.
So instead of telling everyone what you're gonna do, just go do it. And then when it's a success and people ask you how you pulled it off, your work will have already told the story. So the real question is, what will your success say?